So with our lovely Miss T again, ready? Tuna. Nice name recognition. Yes, good job. So I was just helping my little one. She just needed her water bottle, so sorry about the interruption. So with our gorgeous lady, so we could be working, again, these lovely turn behaviors with that U-turn. We could be working from here into a beautiful little front position, where in the beginning, I know I was discussing too before I had to take a little breather, is sometimes we have to be flexible in our criteria and our expectations, which again, you guys have been doing a really good job with her and her sister. So, but I know a lot of times I have to remind myself, because I also sometimes want certain things, and then of course sometimes it doesn't always pan out, and there can be those moments where we're a little bit bummed or a little bit frustrated. But remember that the learning curve is not an easy one to attain within just a few sessions. And I always remind everybody, training's not linear. So to have this expectation of going from point A to point B may not always be what we end up having. So, but if we're more flexible and we're waiting and ready to help the puppies blossom, then I find that training and learning goes a lot more smoothly and more comfortable from both ends. This is beautiful. So let's say again, we're going to work a little front. I'm just going to get her into our position. Nice. 2, she's not as familiar with me as she is with you guys, so her fronts may not be quite as close to you as they are to someone else, so don't worry. So, oh, thank you, is you may find that maybe she does a much better job with her fronts and comes much closer because she has that comfort range around you guys. She might, with me, maybe prefer not to come as close, and that's perfectly okay. So she's like, your toesies smell very interesting. So we'll get a little sit. Nice. We're just going to feed her for that. So, but again, we're just trying to, oh, this is beautiful. So she's offering some really nice little vegging. My other 2 are singing a little bit. Rocky is trying to get my little one's attention by singing his beautiful song at her. So, but let's say you were working some of those fronts, a U-turn, maybe the side or finish, which of course now she's relaxing for a moment, which is fine. So with the side or finish position or back to heel, again, there's so many versions or options. So do what makes sense to you for your cues or your setups in that sense. So, but to get your puppy back to your side or finish position, so ready, cuteness, we'll just get her up and wiggling. She's like, oh, fine. So she's getting tired. It's been a long day for all the beauties for their first rodeo for some. So let's say I have her going into a front, and now she's in front of my body. To bring her back to my side, she's like, no, I'm about to lay down again. She's so tired. So let's say I was going to bring her back to the side of my body so we could keep on walking. She's like, lovely, give it over. She's like, I want the cheese. Her little lips as they poke up as she wants the snack just kill me. It's adorable. She's like, and did it get stuck in your little jowls? So I'm going to get her up and wiggling just so I can get her moving. She is getting tired. So let's say she's up and wiggling. I'm going to try without giving too much of a pause because I know she's getting tired and I don't want her to lay down again quite yet. So I'm going to bring her into my front position, feed her for being in front of me, and then let's say I wanted to continue on my walk. I would then want to lure her, and if she's not sure, I might even toss a little snack, see if I can get her to go find those goodies to move to the side of me slightly. Nice. And then bring her back to the side of my body. So if in the beginning we're getting moments where she's a little tired or a little unsure about something, don't worry if you have to sometimes finesse it a little bit to help her figure out the dynamic. Nice. So again, we're going to bring her into the front. So bringing her into the front of my body right here. And then from there, I'm going to try, and with some food again, lure her to the side of me. So right now she's a little bit unsure. She doesn't quite know what to rock. So I'm going to toss a little food, get her up and moving. So sometimes moving to the side of you, if she's a little bit unsure, I might help her get there. So if the side or finish position is a little bit more awkward to start, what it should look like is when the beauties are in front of you and now you wanted to keep walking, but they're kind of in the way, you would then be able to lure the puppy with your food and do a little bit of a loop and then set them up here next to your side. She's like, and pooped out. But let's say, again, they're getting much more fluid with certain skills. We'll work on the side and finish or whatever we want to call it in a few moments too. But if she's a little bit tired, I might use this moment like we do in class to capture skills I'd love to keep honing in on. So maybe since she's a little tired, I might tell her to stay and see if I can add a little bit of wiggling from me, but then while she's kind of rocking that stationary position, feed for that. So now lovely Miss T can start to hone in. I know there's actually a little piece of cheese off to the side here, but she doesn't seem to mind. So right now I might be capturing moments where my babes are being really successful, relaxing, or taking a breather, taking a little break. So because for a lot of adolescent puppies, zenning out or taking a little break in a very challenging environment is very difficult. So we want to make sure that we're feeding into these lovely skills where sometimes Miss T thinks, you know what, there's maybe great value in vegging for a few moments. So even though the other beauties are off on the side doing their own thing, Mr. M is playing with my little one, and don't worry if she breaks, no big deal. So she was just interested in, of course, the little piece that fell. So if, let's say, I didn't want her to break and she got up too soon, I might go right into getting her into the down position. Nice. And then go right into working again with that stay. So don't worry if there's a hiccup, like let's say they wiggle, just try to reset them up and see if you can gain the behavior again for a few reps. If it's a moment where they're overwhelmed or flustered or just had enough, don't keep trying to end on the thing you maybe can't rock for that moment. So even though she started off working these beautiful stays, maybe she's not feeling comfortable and it's not worth forcing a stay and ruining that great feel around the behavior by making her do it when maybe, let's say, something is out of her comfort range or understanding. So right now she's doing a great job just hanging out. Even if she was watching or looking at other things, it doesn't have to be a focused eye contact while she's in the stay. I just want her to not wiggle. So the main goal is that good things happen when she's stationary, and we build up that not wiggling, again, has that value. She's doing such a nice job. And even with the beauties off in the distance, I know Miss K is sad because she wants my little one to play some more, but my little one is loving Mr. M right now, Max. So right here, yes. Nice. So let's say we're going to end our gorgeous stay. Remember, stay is going to be like freeze tag with room service, or, for example, stationary for safety or statue stay. So you want to think about being stuck, and then when you want to end it, that's when they get up, but there's no food for ending the stay. So we would go all done, and we would try and get her up and wiggling. She says that I'm really cozy in my down. If, let's say, you tried getting your beauty up, and she's like, nope, I'm all set, not saying you have to, of course, pull her out of it, but I would try and get her up and wiggling. Ready? And we might get her up, and then I'm not going to feed for the breaking of the stay, but I might feed for a sit. What is it, Hippo? It's fine. He can come back. So this way, she's like, but Max is romping off in the bubble. So with our gorgeous Miss T, when working these stays, if you ever have a moment where she is having a hard time getting up from the stay because she's maybe just exhausted, if your puppy happens to fall asleep during a stay and they're just chilling, you don't have to go wake them to stop the behavior. But if, let's say, for example, your puppy is exhausted and they're just taking a little breather, you can end there. So, but if, let's say, you did want Miss T to get up and wiggle, get her up, maybe follow the lure. But then from there, Evan, my lovey, I can help you in just a second. Or if you leave him alone, he'll come follow you in just a minute, okay? Can you let him be for just a sec? He'll come follow you in just 2 moments. He's trying to get the crumbs on the other side. Do you want to move the fence for him? Mr. Max is trying to get the crumbs that are, of course, on the opposite side of the fence. So ready? So, but try to, again, if your beauty's having a hard time with something, think to yourselves, what could I change in the environment, or what could I offer the beauty to do instead? And just always think to yourselves, you know, is this something my puppy has practiced well enough to understand, or are we trying to use it in the exact same moment they're learning plus being exposed? And that makes learning go a little bit slower because it's a little bit more challenging for them as well. But Miss T, for her very first rodeo today, did a really nice job in the doggy day school. Good job, cuteness. So we'll give our little Miss T a little breather, and we'll call it a day for our gorgeous gal.